In 2023, multi-purpose e-bikes are becoming increasingly popular. And if you're intrigued by these and you want a compact full-throttle cargo e-bike that can not only haul your lighter groceries, everything you need for that picnic at the park, and maybe even a smaller adult or child, yet still has excellent styling, power, and comfort, then the Velotric Go 1 is one of the smaller, yet still very capable choices. According to their official marketing, they claim this is a compact utility e-bike made to spark joy in your everyday errands. And even though I can't remember the last time I felt joy running errands, the Go 1 is certainly a great companion to have and arguably one of the more practical and versatile cargo e-bikes for under $2,000, especially when you deck it out with its optional yet pretty much must-have accessories. Having reviewed a number of e-bikes, the part I usually least look forward to is the unboxing. That said, with the Velotric Go 1, it was off to a good start with a hassle-free experience, thanks to its very cleverly designed packaging, which opens downwards, very similar to a regular product box. This eliminates the need to cut, rip, or struggle with cardboard staples as you attempt to open that box up. And even cooler, because of how it opens downwards, it creates a semi-flat working area for you to assemble in, which is especially great for someone who assembles their bikes indoors in, say, their living room with carpeted floors that you probably don't want to get messy. Right away, we noticed one of the first interesting parts about the Go 1, and that's the uncommon dual-leg, spring-loaded, center-mounted kickstand. During assembly, this was actually a really great thing to have because it gave the bike additional stability, which made mounting the front wheel especially easy without requiring an extra set of hands or needing to flip the bike over as you normally would. The entire unboxing and installation took about 45 minutes before I was done. For our bike's color, we went with Forest, which is a really nice dark green color. There's also Indigo Gray, which is a pretty nice neutral, though if you know me, I couldn't help but be drawn to that deep dark green. The bike is best suited for riders between 5 foot and 6'6", and so at about 5'9", I was very comfortable. And even on the other end of the spectrum, someone who's petite like my partner, who measures 5 foot, found the Go 1 to be one of the easier bikes for her to hop on or off, even compared to other e-bikes which also claim to have that 5-foot rider accommodation. For its saddle, we find a rather wide and plush, they call it the Velotric Urban Comfort Ergonomic Seat. Both my partner and I found it to be very comfortable and actually above average for this category, and the stem uses a quick release clamp for height adjustments. The frame is made from aluminum alloy, and it doesn't take a detailed eye to notice all the welding marks. They're especially present on its main down tube, though for the most part, build quality does seem solid, just maybe not as pretty as some of the other bikes we've reviewed this year. Just as with the Velotric Nomad 1, which we reviewed last year, the Go 1 doesn't really hide its e-bike identity very well, and that's due largely in part to that removable battery which is installed on the top of the frame. You'll notice a slight gap around the battery which does draw some attention to it being an e-bike. On a more positive note, the cables are routed internally and they only exit from the bottom near the front end of the down tube to meet with your display, your front light, and your brakes. And to help keep things tidy, Velotric also includes these plastic cable wraps. And similar to other Velotric e-bikes, built into this bike, we have Apple Find My, which can help you track where your bike is. As I've explained before, this is not a dedicated replacement for a real lock, but if you have an iPhone, you'll get notifications if you've ever left the bike behind, or you can just keep tabs on it based on its most recent location ping. The Go 1 uses puncture-resistant 20 by 3-inch CST tires. They're semi-fat tires, and they're definitely larger than the standard 20 by 2.4-inch or even smaller tires that you usually find on rivals like the Aventon A-Bound e-bike. The slight increase in size does come with a few trade-offs, like potentially decreasing its efficiency and of course adding some weight to the bike. But for a lot of people, I think that's a trade-off that will pay off, especially when it comes to absorbing bumps or handling other obstacles along your ride. Taking things further, if you ever want to venture off the beaten path, you probably won't want to do it with cargo, but those tires will offer a level of semi-capability to those rides. Even trying this on dirt paths, loose gravel, and a few fields, the bike did feel more stable than you normally would expect. It does a decent job at providing a relatively smooth ride as well. Now, of course, if you want to go over trails, tree roots, mounds of dirt, and sand, this isn't going to be the bike for that, but again, compared to your average cargo e-bike, this is definitely much more off-road worthy. Discussing its design a little bit more, this bike weighs just 65 pounds. And just comparing it to other bikes in this category, it has a significantly more compact and more traditional looking frame, size, and shape, and it's of course notably lighter compared to those hefty options out there, which usually range between 75 to a whopping 90 pounds. A lot of its weight savings can be attributed to its shorter end and overall shorter wheelbase, which does set it apart from its longer counterparts, including the Velotric Packer 1, which we are also reviewing in a few weeks. But a key advantage that we found with the Go 1 over the Packer 1 and other similar traditional cargo e-bikes is that the Go 1 is compatible with most hitch mount bike racks, which makes it great for if you want to take it on an adventure using your SUV. Understandably, the shorter design does come with the downside of it not being able to carry as much on the rear cargo rack, though before writing it off, it is worth considering how much extra space you truly require and if that's a worthwhile trade-off for you. Now, speaking of carrying capacity, the bike has a maximum payload of 440 pounds. That includes the rider. The rear cargo area is welded on rather than bolted, which does add additional strength, and in total, you can carry up to 120 pounds on the back, which you can distribute in its basket and other third-party side saddles. Or instead, you can opt for its rear seat and handlebar to accommodate smaller adults and children. And so with that, you're probably going to be interested in picking up some of the accessories available from Velotric's site when you're buying this bike. The most popular choices include the front basket, which costs $89.99, the rear basket, which costs $89.99 as well, the seat pad, which costs $66.99, the passenger handrail, which costs $56.99, and the rear pegs, which can also go with that, for $29.99. On one hand, the accessories do match the bike's build and design very well, but their price tags will raise a few eyebrows, especially that seat pad, which, oh my goodness, why is it so expensive? The front basket, it's not overly deep, but it does manage to accommodate a number of smaller bags from our day trips, as well as, of course, the inevitable to-go bag from Chipotle. Now, the bike does retail for $15.99 when it's on sale, but considering you'll probably want to pick up a number of these accessories, you can probably expect an out-the-door price closer to $1,700 or $1,800 after you're all done decking it out. Powering the Go 1, we have the proprietary VeloPower H50 drive system. This is composed of a cadence sensor 500 watt motor, which can peak at 900 watts and deliver 65 Newton meters of torque. Out of the box, it is categorized as a Class-2 e-bike, which gives you a top speed of 20 miles per hour. Though if you want, through its settings, you can unlock a higher top speed of 25 miles per hour. Even with that though, the bike won't blow you away with its power or its acceleration. Instead though, you'll come to appreciate the comfortable and predictable power output, which is surprisingly smooth on and off, despite not using a torque sensor. There are 5 levels of pedal assistance: Eco, Tour, Normal, Sport, and Turbo. They'll give you power assistance up to 10, 12, 15, 18, and 20 miles per hour respectively. And for when you're off the bike, there's also a walk mode, which nudges the bike along at a gentle 2.9 miles per hour. The Go 1 uses a UL 2271 recognized, which is a fire safety standard, LG lithium ion, 48 volt, 14.4 amp hour, 691.2 watt hour battery. Velotric claims this can give you up to 48 miles in throttle only and 55 miles in pedal assist. From our test, which involved a mix of hills, flat roads, and speeds averaging between 15 to 20 miles per hour with pedal assistance, and usually riding in power modes 4 or 5, I usually got a range closer to 45 to 48 miles with pedal assistance. Charging times are relatively average with its 48 volt 3 amp charger, which takes about 4 hours to reach 80% and about 6 hours for a full charge. Helping you keep track of your ride, you have a 3.5 inch backlit monochrome LCD, which displays essential information including your speed, your trip details, battery level, and the power assistance level. And it's within here that you can change the bike's settings to extend its top speed to 25 miles per hour if you want. My only complaint with this display is that the battery levels are shown as 5 bars rather than an actual battery percentage, which can make estimating your remaining range pretty tricky. But on a positive note, the display is very easy to read, even in direct sunlight. For its drivetrain, we find the Shimano 7-speed with a 13x34T configuration, and in contrast to other 500 watt and 750 watt e-bikes which we've recently reviewed, including that Ebike Tyson, which seemingly always seem to be overpowered in terms of motor assistance, often necessitating remaining in their top gear in order for you to provide any meaningful pedal assistance. The Go 1 instead is taking a more relaxed approach. From our experience, the bike feels much more balanced with its power assistance and its gearing. Right off the bat, when I'm riding on flat roads, I can comfortably ride in lower gears and still maintain a steady pace of 9 to 12 miles per hour without the need of any pedal assistance. You might be surprised, but there are a number of e-bikes, even with gears, that are still miserable to ride without any power assistance. When you switch the Go to its Eco or Tour power modes, these are great for maintaining lower speeds or tackling steeper inclines with just enough assistance to make the experience more comfortable and easy. And continuing as you ramp up through its other power modes, you're treated to a more gradual increase in assistance, which I feel nicely aligns with your pedaling input and your desired speed. And unlike a lot of the other e-bikes I've been reviewing throughout my test route, I found that I was actually shifting gears more regularly based on the elevation changes or the power mode that I was in, rather than just sticking in 7th gear the whole time. And so if you're someone who actually enjoys pedaling and doesn't want to entirely rely on the power assistance from the motor, the Go 1 does this very well. Lastly, to test its torque, we wanted to see how well the Go 1 could climb hills using just throttle. For reference, I'm about 160 pounds, and I was doing this without any cargo. In its turbo mode, the Go 1 was able to accelerate to about 12.5 miles per hour before it maxed out its output. We've tested other 500 watt options which can hit 14 to 16 miles per hour on a similar incline. But this doesn't necessarily mean that the Go 1 is weak. Of course, adding some pedal assistance goes a long way here, especially if you don't want to take a big hit to your range. And so if you like the benefits that a cargo e-bike can offer, but don't necessarily want to commit to the usual large size that comes with them, the Go 1 stands out as a versatile, very compact, yet still very adaptable option, making a great choice whether you're running errands or taking the family on a ride, all while still being able to fit nicely on the back of your SUV's bike rack. And although it won't give you that adrenaline rush that a lot of other 500 watt e-bikes tend to offer, the Go 1 instead feels more reliable, smooth, while still being able to dip its toes into the occasional off-road escapade as well. And even when factoring in the additional $200 to $300 that you'll need to invest in accessories to really make the most out of your new ride, for under $2,000, the Go 1 is pretty much in a category of its own of compact cargo e-bikes. So let us know your thoughts on the Go 1 in the comments down below. This has been Paul with MakeUseOf.com, and until the next one, we'll catch you later.